Hey everyone, and welcome back to this walkthrough of Natas, a war game hosted by OverTheWire. In this video, we're going to go through level 3. So we're going to open this in a new tab, and I already have the password copied here just from our previous level. And what I also did is just create a new directory for this level because, again, we're going to be doing a GetFlag one-liner just so we can save the password and as good practice. So it looks like I'm already logged in, but just paste in that password there to authenticate. And you can see, looks a lot like level 2 where it says there is nothing on this page. Well, we know that's not the case. If we were to Control U to look at the page source, you can see another HTML comment. It actually does look like there's nothing on this page because we can see this comment says no more information leaks. Not even Google will find it this time. So if you remember in the last level, there was an image tag which we could use to go to the /files directory. I don't think that's the case here because this line here is kind of suspicious to me where it says not even Google will find it this time. This instantly makes me think of web crawlers and robots.txt. If you don't know what robots.txt is, well, if you think about Google, Bing, Yahoo, all these different search engines essentially use what are called web robots, often referred to as crawlers or spiders as well. And what these basically do is they're pieces of code that scan and index websites all over the web for the purpose of generating their search results. So these robots visit each page on a website, they follow all the links, and they recursively look at all these links until they've viewed every page of the site, and they can build out a sitemap. And all the data that these robots collect essentially is rolled up and used to generate the search results based on the relevance of the page and the user search query and stuff like that. And the robots.txt file is a file placed on the root of the website directory. So you can typically get to it if you just type in /robots.txt if you're on the root of the web page. And essentially what this file does is it's basically a text file, and it allows you to specify which pages or which sections of the website should and should not be allowed to be crawled by these web robots. So again, when one of these web crawlers visits a website, it's first going to look at that /robots.txt endpoint, and it's going to look for that file in the root directory, and it will read the instructions and typically abide by them, and it will use that to determine which pages it can and can't crawl and index. So if you think about what is typically restricted in a robots.txt file, in some cases it's usually juicy stuff. So you think about login pages, registration pages, admin pages, stuff like that. If you think about what someone would not want to have indexed on Google, it's typically not the most marketable pages on a website. And in a robots.txt file, you can also make distinctions based on user agents and such, which we can get into later. But like I said, this line here, not even Google will find it this time, is the hint that sort of makes you think of checking out the robots.txt file. So like I said, we're just going to hit robots.txt here. Oops. And you can see this file has been loaded, and it does exist. We didn't get a 404 or anything like that. And you can see it, we just have two lines where, like I said, the user agent, in this case, it's just a wildcard symbol, which means any user agent. So, these search engines have specific user agents. So if you really wanted to get granular about it, you could say, Google can index these pages, Bing can't index these, for example. But in this case, the webmaster appears to not want any of these robots, any of these search engines to index this /secret directory here, which is obviously the solution to this level. There's going to be something here on the secret directory. So the robots.txt file is typically one of the first things, it's usually at least one of the low-hanging fruit things you want to check if you're doing a CTF for a web server or pen test and stuff like that. Especially in the CTF sort of world, you're going to find a lot of stuff in a robot.txt file. Just a hint, if you're doing the Mr. Robot Try Hack Me room, robot is in the name, so definitely check the robots.txt file for that CTF challenge. So what we're going to do essentially is just roleplay as a non-law-abiding web robot, and we're going to go straight to this directory, and can only imagine what we'll find here on this secret directory. And I'm just going to zoom out. And you can see we're getting another index page. This looks just like the last level. The same misconfiguration. You can see we're getting the same information leakage here, as well as all of these files are indexed on the World Wide Web. So this is a good example of security through obscurity. In general, this is a misconfiguration. This directory is indexable, and there are files that should not be indexed on the World Wide Web in this directory. So even though you disallow this in the robots.txt, well, that's not going to stop anybody from actually accessing this page. And if anything, we might not have found it if we didn't look at the robots.txt because it's kind of an obscure name. So again, we're just going to click on users.txt, and you can see we just have the username and password here for Natas 4. So that completes this level. So let's just do our GetFlag one-liner here pretty quickly. It's going to be very similar to last time, but actually one less step because we're not going to have to do our first grep here because we're just getting one line returned. So I'm going to copy this URL, head back to our terminal. What I'm going to do essentially is run our curl command. We're going to paste in that URL. we want to specify the TAC-U to put in our username and password. And for this level, Natas3, obviously. And we're going to do our little command in a command trick to cat out Natas, Natas02. So that's our file there that contains the correct password. So we're just going to cat that out essentially and provide that as our argument. TAC-S, just to silence that, any progress bars we see. And what we can do now is just do our cut command. And again, same as last time, we're going to specify our delimiter. And that's just going to be where we want to cut. And that's going to be at the colon mark. If we go back here quickly, we want to make a cut here. And we want to grab the second field, which is going to be anything after our delimiter. And we can specify that with the TAC-F and number 2 for the second field. And there we go, there's our password, and we're just going to redirect our output here to Natas3. I already created a directory for it, and we'll just call it Natas3. Now, just to make sure that worked, we're going to run Natas.sh again. Next level is going to be Natas4, and our password, again, we're going to do our little cat out trick here to get that Natas3. And you can see we're connected. We are getting the source code of the web page, we're authenticated, and you can see a hint to the next challenge here, which will be in the next video. And that's it for this one. We are slowly but surely working our way through the rest of these challenges here. So thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned to the next one where we cover Natas 4.